Good day and welcome to our explanation and demonstration of how to set up a full lab inside the Microsoft Azure cloud. We're going to create an account, we're going to create a Windows 2019 server, upgrade it to a domain controller, we're going to set up a Windows 10 PC, we're going to set up Bastion, we're going to tighten up the firewall, we're going to go over a whole bunch of little bits that you need to know as well. We have a full video with all 6 items together, that's about 50 minutes long, but what we're going to do here is break this into segments for you. This is segment 4 of 6. So the first thing we have to do is set that the IP address that the server has right now to be static, not dynamic. Because as you know, that'll blow up DNS and a bunch of other things. So pretty straightforward. Go to the top, type in virtual, and you'll get virtual networks. There we go. Then click on your virtual network. Then click on your DC. Then click on IP configuration. And in here, you'll see it's set to dynamic. Yeah, it's not what we want. So click on that and change it to static. Now you can set whatever address you want, but if you do change this, you're going to have to reboot your domain controller again. So I'm just going to leave it at 4 and click save. Let's go back and take a look and see how our box is going. Okay, good. It's already going down. That's great. Now let's go back to our virtual networks. We'll click DNS servers. And because it has to get its address from itself, because it's a domain controller and it has DNS, whether you want it to or not, you have to set it as a custom DNS. So it's we just set it to 10.0.0.4 and click OK. There we go. Now what that's done is that will set all future machines that are connected here that we build to point to 10.0.0.4 for their DNS, which is a great thing. Now, let's go take a look. Let's go into Bastion and take a look at how our domain controller is running. And my guess is we won't be able to yet because it's not finished. Let's go to Home, go to Virtual Machines, click on the virtual machine. Now, I could click Connect and go to Bastion, but it's probably not done. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and let's go through a few things here. The thing you're going to want to see is really this. The first item is just to see, yeah, there's stuff going on here. It goes from the right to the left, but let's take a look at something very useful, which is boot diagnostics. It's a screenshot, and right now there's nothing there because it's right in the middle of its reboot. Normally you'll see the boot up screen, you'll see things like that. So it's quite sluggish. It does not refresh. You have to refresh it manually. But there we go. But it just came up. So you can see it's coming up, and this will take a while to complete. It is, after all, upgrading itself to a domain controller. So let's take a look at a few other things. Let's go down to Serial Console. This is kind of handy. And it's as if we'd connected a serial cable to it. There we go. Computer is booting. Isn't that nice? Now I could type in some commands. I'm not going to bother. I could also, oh look, it's finished. That's great. I can also look at the serial log, and it will give me roughly what was in the serial console. And if I click on resource health, I'll get a log of what's going on. So reboot was triggered from inside the virtual machine. We do the machine, blah, 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 blah. That all looks good. So let's go back to boot diagnostics, and I can see that this was it's current as of a few minutes ago, so I'll refresh it. But I found that refresh, yeah, it doesn't. But at least you have an idea what's going on. So now let's go back to our overview. I'll go to Connect, I'll go to Bastion, and I will connect. There we go. Now, as you know, it takes a few minutes to finish off after a domain controller has been configured. But one thing we can do while we're waiting here is we can take a look at the DNS. So let's go into here and go to Open Network Settings. Change adapter options. And that gets us into the old school interface. And look what happens when I go into 4 here. Look, so primary DNS is set to itself. And by the way, if you set the IP address in here to be static, your machine, what was it I was reading? It was a great little line that said bad things will happen and you won't work there anymore. Do not set IP addresses here. You have to set them through the Azure portal, not through the GUI. Okay, so that's kind of handy. Now let's take a look at the DNS, and we'll look at the forwarders. Now, if you're not familiar with DNS, don't worry about this. We're just waiting for this thing to finish off. But forwarders are where where the network sends queries when it can't figure out where something is. So if you type in jjjjj.com, well, your local computer has no idea where that is. So it goes to the DNS server. The DNS server says, I don't have an entry for that. So it goes off to a forwarder. Well, where are the forwarders? Well, take a look. There it is. It set it up as Microsoft. So unable to resolve? Yeah, no, it'll resolve. Look, I can go here on my browser, and I can go to a site that I've never been to before. So let's go to there. Never been there before, and you can see ping came right up. Things to do in Flagstaff. Okay, there we go. While we're here, I am going to change the default browser because I don't want to even get asked for it anymore. Default apps. Scroll down. There we go. Sometimes it seems to change that over, and sometimes it doesn't. Don't worry about these being red right now. They take a minute to clear out. But at this point, we have a domain controller, and I can now close this. In fact, I'm done with this, so I'm going to go to Server Manager Properties, and I'm going to say, don't show this again, and get rid of it. Let's close that. And I'm going to go to Active Directory, Users and Computers. I'm going to pin it to my start. I can go to Sites and Services, pin it to my start. I don't need to do domains and trusts, but you could. Domain. So under Users, I shouldn't have anything yet. Well, obviously, other than the built-in stuff, tested min, yeah, that's the one I created. Computers, there's nothing there. Domain controllers, guess what's there? One. And it's a global catalog. Isn't that wonderful? So again, if you don't understand this, don't worry about it. You don't really have to. Just trying to show you that this is working. Please watch our next segment.